Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. As a recap, I am working on this 15 square foot mosaic. It is one of 3 that will be going around the sides of a fountain at a courtyard in a church near where I live. It is in the theme of Moses, and this one is Moses striking the rock. And let me show you how far I've gotten. I have the figures and a lot of this water done. So I'm gonna pick up where I left off last week and work on the water flowing down this little spring. And we'll see how far I get this week. All right, I am at a good stopping point midstream, and I am going to do this piece of pottery that the woman is using to get the water out. And despite the fact that I have it sort of this same golden color as this baby's hair, I think that's too close to the color of the rocks. So I'm gonna go with this bluish brown. Now, this glass in particular, I have picked up several pieces of it because I will be using it in the water when I get to the mosaic of Moses parting the sea, because that's sort of a stormy water and it's going to be darker. So this is just one of the types of glass I'm going to use. But this has quite a bit of sort of an earthenware look to it. It could be sort of a clayish color. And I am going to use this highlighted part right here to do the rim, which is lighter. And then the darker back, I can use some of this darker glass. So I'm just going to use glass from this piece to do this entire piece of pottery. And you may notice I have drawn a line right here. I wasn't looking at the pot when I made the foot, and I'm gonna have to amputate the toes there because they are encroaching on the pot, and the pot is in front of the foot, not the foot in front of the pot. So I'm gonna cut that baby's toes off and get after this pot. That's it. And I did consult a historian on the color of the pot, and they recommended an earthenware color and said that there may have been pigments at the time, but they have since faded. So I'm going to stick with the colors on this sheet. That's it. I scraped off the dried on adhesive that was there, and I'm putting some fresh. I have got all these fiddly bits of gold adhered to the mesh using silicone. And the idea behind that is to use a minimal amount of silicone so that when I install this using thinset, the thinset will be able to grip the pieces. So I think that thinset is actually a superior adhesive for use, but when I used thinset in the past, it created a solid piece that I then installed. And this can't be solid because it has to flex around the curve of the fountain. I'm going to try using thinset sparingly so that it doesn't create a solid piece behind the mesh that then won't go around the curve. So I'm going to use it sparingly, and this is going to be a little test area where I do it because the pieces of stained glass that I use are bigger than the gold that I've used here. That little test went very well. It was very easy to use and to keep it behind each piece and not ooze out. I can't really have it, I have to keep it flexible, so behind each piece is what I want. I don't want it to dry into a solid piece that can't then go around the curve. And I think it's going to be successful, so I'm going to continue with the thinset. I'm using Laticrete 254 Platinum thinset here. It's a very strong thinset, and like the name suggests, it just takes a very thin layer to adhere it. So a nice thin layer, and it should work beautifully. So I'm going to continue with using thinset. Get to work on these rocks, and I am going to start over here with Moses and the rock that his foot is on. I feel like it's been a while since I touched base with him, so I want to ground him a little bit and give him a rock to stand on, and then maybe take after this big portion here and then go that way. nice to be done with this portion of rock. Working away on these rocks, and I'm looking at this container, this terracotta plot, and it is just too dark. It's too close to the rock color, so I'm just going to change the rim. I'm going to lighten up the rim a little bit, especially where it is not easy to read. So I can kind of see this, but this is hard to read. This is kind of hard to read. I'm just going to change out some of them. And I'm going to finish making the handle here too. There, that looks so much better. Now I can tell that it's there, it doesn't disappear. There's enough contrast between the rocks and the pop there. I have to say, it's been a real pleasure working on these rocks. They're going in so quickly and they make such a dramatic difference. They make the people look grounded and as if they're not floating. That's putting it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.